Before we go, we've got actually a bunch of pretty good viewer comments and questions. Some very good stuff. So, again, last week we talked about the new Storm King's Thunder stuff for D&D, the new storyline.
I thought you were just throwing out adjectives there.
The new dip. And Raphaelis13, who's helped us out before with some D&D stuff, had some responses, said that they actually have a special write-up to be directly connected to Lost Mines of Phandelver. So he believes that they were in fact stalking us, since they also added the rune magic that you wanted. But on the subject of rune magic, he says that maybe it will be more about having a special stone and tracing its sigil around to cast attacks and effects, rather than inflicting it on different objects.
Well, I think both things would be very nice things.
Would be cool.
They both provide a very interesting twist and change that I think could definitely spice up.
And he also clears up for us the fact that Volo was an old character from the Forgotten Realms, used for many years to write monster manuals and such things like that, and then encouraged us to use Google, to which I say, that's why we have you. That's what our viewers are for, so we don't have to do anything. And also, I was correct in my naming of Newt Scamander, the Harry Potter analog to Volo, and he gave me +1 geek points.
Save them. Don't spend them all in one place.
I'll try not to. And he also, we're not going to read him on the show, but he left 1 or 2 comments with a bunch of really great tips for dungeon mastering, about how to get players more involved and role-playing
and you're gonna
better
take
characters.
Them in, right?
Yeah, so that stuff is great. If anyone else has more tips like that, please
We'll put a link to the comments down below, because you definitely would check them out.
We also talked about the Bang lawsuits. We got a comment from Dave Dog, good name, that's Dogge, who lives in Spain at the moment. They just bought the Bang bullet, the big old bullet that comes with all the packs in it, and they were saying that they hope that the expansion packs don't get taken off the shelves or anything. I don't think that you have to worry about that, Dave, because from the sounds of it, it was more on the other end that there was some heat, and I think they worked it out. So I don't think these didn't sound like Bang is going to be going anywhere. I think that it's safe. They also said in Europe they don't see any of the Walking Dead Bang packs anywhere. So I don't know if that's a thing. If there's other people in Europe watching who have maybe it's not. Maybe Walking Dead isn't as big over there.
It not?
Maybe that's why.
Huh.
I don't even know. Like that's a whole other thing. I don't know what the board game scene is like.
That's because over there
Germany.
We don't have it here, but over there they have the Downton Abbey Bang.
I was like, is that true?
If that was actually a thing,
there should be a Downton Abbey board game, but that'll be another subject.
Oh, it looks like we found another one of the copyrights that you need a deck building key version of.
We'll get into that. Speaking of copyrights. I always got one.
You love the words. That's your catchphrase. Speaking of.
We need t-shirts. All right. Drawn Steel Hero left a comment on our Dice Masters video, our very first one.
So this would be Avengers vs. X-Men, I believe.
That's correct. So going way back to some Dice Masters comments, they like, I think we talked about this, how rare stuff isn't necessarily better than common stuff. So you can play a good competitive game even with some of the base sets only. And they also, I think one of the things we were talking about was the lack of playmats.
Back then.
Yeah, well, even still, it was annoying. Now you can buy in the collector sets and stuff like that. But his suggestion was, or hers suggestion was, to download. You can actually download them off of the WizKids site, and then they laminated the playmats. Which is a pretty good budget option to go for.
Well, not only just for that. I mean,
any game.
We can think of plenty of games that might be a little better with a playmat.
And I know. I mean, this is on Board Game Geek. I'm sure there's fan designed playmats.
No, for everything. I mean, I remember when I was designing your legendary things. If you recall, on your cards that I actually have, you can look up the symbols of each hero. I got that because I looked at legendary dividers and people actually did that.
Right.
And I know what they also do is that they actually printed out, and people have made designs, if you recall all the schemes and stuff, made unique art for each one of them. because people didn't like the fact that all the schemes were the same art.
Oh yeah, that's true. That bothers me too. So yeah, who'da thunk? The internet, a good place to go for resources for board games. Rico Cordova, our friend of the show, as you all are. Everybody who comments gets to be a friend of the show. Had some things to say about the Splendor review we did last week for the brand new. That's not brand
Splendor
new.
app.
Our brand new review of the not brand new Splendor app. Has been playing it for a while, but hasn't played the physical game.
Interesting.
So has an interesting perspective. Says that he does feel very relaxed playing the app. His wife and he do the pass and play from time to time and enjoy it quite a bit. And never really thought of the game as having a take that mechanic. But can see that happening, and says now that maybe he's more cautiously optimistic about playing the physical game. I would say.
Well, first of all, it depends who you're playing with.
I would say that our group happens to be a cutthroat group of mean people.
I think the other thing is you don't even. Maybe I think because I just happen to notice it more. The first time I played the Splendor game, this wasn't really a take that as much as it just works out that way. I would plan to buy something, and always the turn ahead of me, the person bought that item.
Right, you just have
bad luck. That was a bad luck thing. So I don't really, but because of, like I said, you could see the chips and everything. You sort of go into that mode almost.
Right, the potential is there, but yeah. He also said the app has a bunch of battery consumption issues, which I'm sure it does. I think every board game app I've ever played is drains your battery really fast.
I'm surprised that it lasted so long when we played it.
Well, this thing's pretty good. Anyway, and this is really the biggest point of his thing to me. He says what has always baffled him is so few apps have asynchronous online play. Turn-based games lend themselves to that option perfectly. Why don't more apps take advantage of that? I'd love to be able to start a game with a few people online, take my turn, shut it off, go about my day, come back later, and see what other players did. He mentions Frozen Synapse as a game that has that option on Steam.
Yeah, I forget, where were we, or were we talking about? I think it was with you. I was with you, but they're talking about games where people email to each other, or used to even letters.
Right.
And be like, this is what I did on my turn.
Right. I think people used to do that with for even chess tournaments and stuff.
Yeah,
that was back in the day.
So this is literally the perfect form of that. And there was some app we used to do that. It wasn't a board game one. I think maybe it was the Avengers X-Men Facebook app. It was the Marvel one.
Something like that.
There was. And also Robot Unicorn. We'd go back and forth beating each other's high scores.
Right.
But that is really what I'd want. Because especially a lot of games, turn-based ones that I think of are apps, are ones that aren't where I need to be Magic the Gathering, for example, I need to wait, now I can try to get this instant speed spell. You're once you've done your turn, there's nothing you can do about it. So really, you can just wait and see what all the damage was.
There's so many board games that are like that. It really makes perfect sense.
Sure, I know some people would argue, I want to see if you drew the red train card for Ticket to Ride in a face down, but really, for an app,
you can see that later.
Yeah, if you want to do that, if you want to really do that, you can put on maybe the pass mode, because then you can watch. But really, I think the app is that seems such a good method to be able to be if you're at work or something, just be okay, I do this.
Oh, what we used to do was Words with Friends.
Yes, that was great.
Yeah.
I love doing that. I loved always being
he played a new word, I'll put this in. Yeah, that was really good. I think there are some unofficial board game apps online that have this kind of play.
But Asmodee and all the other big board games
I don't
really
think
need
any
to step
of them
it up
do.
there.
That's definitely something they should get. I guess it's hard to keep the game saved between sessions.
Maybe it's server related.
Yeah.
I didn't think about that.
But they come on. And finally, Falcon Ash K says, "Congratulations on 900 subscribers."
Oh, thank you.
Glad to be a part of it. That's right. And we are rapidly approaching 1K. So if you're watching this and you're not subscribed, please do so. We'd appreciate it. And next week is our 100th episode.
Oh, yeah.
So if we could get 100 episodes and 1,000 subscribers together.
That's crazy, man.
That's
crazy tough.
I think we should make that magic happen. But that's all of your comments.
This is all we need to do?
Make more of this magic happen.